Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 21st of November, 11:21. Parshas Vayetze. So, actually, every night when I go to sleep, right before I go to sleep, I say, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? So I think of a whole bunch of good things. I fall asleep, I wake up in the morning, I have no idea, don't remember a thing, So then while I'm driving, I'm saying, okay, what am I going to talk about? So as I'm driving, I'm scribbling notes, and there's no way I can understand what I wrote, even though I wrote it only about a half hour ago.
And then you forgot those two.
Yeah. The stories, as I said last week, stories in... I'm sorry, Alan. I look this way, so you're only getting actually my better half. So you're lucky.
That's all that matters.
Okay, so we welcome Alan Ehrlich here. So the stories that this is the coffee is unadulterated, but you have some flavoring there if you want. Okay. There's all kinds of things that happen in Bereshis, in the first book of the Torah, the first sefer of the Torah.
What is it?
We see the Torah is obsessed with names. We have a concept of Shmo Gorim. Your name is the cause of things what's going to happen in your life.
What did it change my name?
So Tad is the amazing Democrat. Everybody's name is actually, all kidding aside, they say you should be careful when you give somebody a name because that's going to influence his mazel, his fate, his luck, his fortune, whatever it is.
Mashem.
Excuse me?
Mashem.
Mashem? What's my name? My name is Nasim Menachem. So a big Rebbe once told me that is really, he gave me a blessing, and I'm going to repeat it. It's going to sound like I'm complimenting myself.
Changed my name to yours.
But Nasan means to give. Okay?
That's your first name?
Yeah, my first name is Nasan, to give. I'll show you later on my thing. And it's interesting that we have this concept that if you give, you get back. And the name Nasan is spelled the same forwards and backwards. So basically, if you give, you get back. So
Natan Menachem?
Now, Menachem means to console, to comfort. And he told me that's something that I do to people and that I enjoy doing it and I like doing it, which is true.
But you do it only twice a week here.
I only do it twice a week. I can't wait for you guys to move to Staten Island. Then
He was ready to fire you last week.
What?
He was ready to fire you last week.
Yeah, all right. So I rushed back.
Nasan is Natan, or is it because the Ashkenazi people they say Nasan, but really
Whatever it is,
Natan.
Natan, Asan, it means the same. Whether you pronounce it as a taf or a suf, it means to give. So, and all through Bereshis, we see this thing about names. So let's look. This week's parsha talks about of Yaakov and his whole interaction with his brother Esav, and then eventually getting married to four women. Basically depleted the supply for lay people like us. Morning, Ari. Good to see you. No problem. So there's many questions that are asked about Jacob marrying two sets of sisters. He married Rachel and Leah, and he married the maidservants Bilhah and Zilpah, which were sisters also. There's actually the sisters from the same mister, sisters from the same misters, but from a different mother.
Okay.
Sometimes your brother from the same mother, the sisters from the same mister. you know. Anyway, there's no, what's it called again?
Cream.
Hazelnut flavoring there yet. Just plain coffee. Okay, so there's a few things I want to point out over here. First of all, while Yaakov and Esav were still in the womb, they were fighting. You know that. What were they fighting about? Each one wanted to come out first. Now, it's interesting the way the Torah says it, that
That's how they come out with the expression, come out fighting.
come out fighting. Oh, all right,
It's
could be.
avarim b'kirva.
Right. It says, Benny says it correctly, the kids were fighting, the children were fighting. It means running, but it means they were moving around. They were each rushing to get out, and she was in a lot of pain. And she says, Vatomer, and then Rivka said, if this is the case, if I am in such pain, if this is what giving birth is all about, because she was barren for many, many years, and she finally prayed and she became pregnant. So she says, what do I need all this? Vatelech lidrosh es Hashem. She went to ask Hashem, which basically means that she went into the yeshiva at that time. She went to the Rosh Yeshiva. Who was the Rosh Yeshiva at the time? Shem Va'ever was the Yeshiva, and she went to ask, what's this all about? Now, what answer did he give her? Morning, Dr. Felder. Good to see you. He says you'll have two nations, V'rav Yavod Tzo'ir, and the elder will serve the younger. Now, and then what happened? And then it goes on, and then she completed her pregnancy and she gave birth. So it's so cute. I knew I'd get that word in today. It's so cute. How did that resolve the problem? She was having terrible pains. The kids were fighting inside, rushing, everything. She goes to Shem V'ever. Ever tells her, you have two nations, and the older one will be subservient to the younger one. And did that end the problem?
No, at least she understood what was
Yes.
happening, so she could...
It ended the problem.
It did.
Yeah.
How?
Because nobody was rushing anymore to get out. They wanted to be last.
Oh, right.
Right? No more pushing. Go ahead, sir. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
That's good.
So anyway, they finally were born, and as soon as they're born, they're given the name Esav. Vayikru'u Shemo Esav. One was given the name of Esav. And what does Rashi say? Rashi says, what does Esav mean? What does the word Esav mean? Excuse me? Well,
Saharot.
yeah, but it's I don't know if Rashi says that. It says that he came out very hairy, but the word Esav really means that he came out done. Like Vayas Hashem Asu. He was made. He was done. Exactly. That's it. He was all done. He was all done. Now, did he do anything to? All right, I'll get back to that in a second.
He came out like a 42-year-old.
So he came out all done. He was done. He was fully grown physically, as far as hair-wise. He had reached maturity in that way. He was actually never circumcised.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think he was ever circumcised. Yeah, that's why he's not buried in the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. How do you say that in English? The caves of the forefathers.
Right.
Double.
All doubles. Adam and his wife Chava, Avram and Sarah, Yitzchak and
But he
Rivka.
had no power to not to let Yitzchak to not circumcise him.
Would that be on the parents, though, a blemish on the parents for not circumcising?
That's
No
what.
matter what?
I would think. Who
So
said-
that's why I believe he may have been born circumcised already. Could be. He came complete.
See, so
By the way,
that's what I said. I said he came circumcised.
yeah, I believe Alan's correct. There's another person that was born circumcised. One of the tribes, Gad. God was born circumcised. Now there are people nowadays also that are already born circumcised. Nevertheless, you still have to do something to
Take
release
blood.
a little blood to
The ritual.
the ritual. So the question is, by the way, let me just go back to this: that Esav was not buried in the caves of the double cave. What's the English word for that? Ma'arat HaMachpelah.
The mausoleum or something?
No, the caves, the doubled caves. It's where it's in Hebron. I don't know. You've been there?
Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
But his head was there.
Oh, but his head was buried there. So, yeah. Good morning. Oh, look at
I
that.
heard something about that.
We have our Kohen
Because
Gadol.
one of the children of Yaakov, grandchildren, was
No,
dead.
Gadol.
So they were going to bury Yaakov to the Mara, to the burial place. And Esau came and Esau said, excuse me, what is this? I have to be here. It's my place.
Yeah.
So was argument. Meanwhile, was grandchildren was deaf. He couldn't hear, but he was very
Right.
strong. He said, and they told him, so what's going on? Why they stopping the burial?
They have a cup if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, finish.
So-
Just say it a little louder so they can go on the camera.
So the deaf grandson, what was
Not a
his name?
grandson. It was grandson.
Grandson.
Chushim,
Cushion.
the son of Dun.
Done. He said, what's going on? He said, this guy is stopping the barrier. So he went and he smacked the head of Esav. So the head cut
By
off.
smacking it? Were you didn't use a sword or a knife?
No.
Smacked it off?
That's what they say.
Yeah, I never heard about smacking him. I actually heard with a sword, but
No, they
whatever.
said they smacked
Yeah,
him
knocked
so
his head
hard.
off,
And his
knocked
head,
the block off. And his
and
head rolled
rolled
into the cave. Right.
That's a gruesome story.
And this was predicted, by the way, because when Rivka, good morning, when Yaakov's mother went over to him and says, look, Esav is after you, you better run away. She gave him the advice to run away, and she says, you better run away, because if not, she says, why should I lose the two of you in one day?
Yeah.
She says.
And I heard
So the simple explanation is that you guys will stop fighting, you'll kill each other, but she foresaw that they were both actually going to be buried in the same day.
they said the reason his head went there because he was respecting his parents. His
Right.
parents
He was
he was very respectful to his father.
Right.
So his head deserved to go be buried there.
So let's get back to the name Esav. Esav means he's done. Now let's look at Yaakov. What does the Torah say about Yaakov?
Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim.
Right. Let me just see where it is.
Memorize the whole Torah.
Yeah. Benny
I read.
was co-author of
I
this.
love it. I love after I became religious, I started.
Now look at this. Esav, was Esav. He was done when he was born. Yaakov, it says, Vayigdalo Hanorim. They became big, and the Yaakov Ishtam, and Yaakov was Ishtam. What does the word tam mean?
Simple.
It means two things. It either means, today we use the word tam when somebody's simple, a simpleton, but we know that Yaakov was anything but a simple person. He was, very educated. It means also innocent. It means not involved with the mundane things in the world, but more than anything else, the word tam, let me see how this wholesome
Well,
was a whole, yes?
the word simple
Yeah.
means, if we take it as a mentality, the word simple is a lifestyle.
Is a lifestyle also,
It's a
so
very
that-
simple lifestyle, not
Right,
demanding
right,
a lot
right.
of things, just
Exactly.
being
So
accepted.
some of the most righteous people were
are very
simple
simple
people.
people that didn't need a lot of extra things.
They didn't need
around.
extra things. They weren't involved with mundane things in this world, because this world is, is just a
Right.
temporary world. Somebody once came to the Baal Shem Tov, I think it was, and he heard he was caught. He went into the town where the Baal Shem Tov lives. Everybody knows the story, and he went to visit him. And he was a wealthy person, and he went to the Baal Shem Tov seeking his blessing, and he was very taken back. He asked the Baal Shem Tov, he says, I can't believe the way you live. He says, where's all your furniture? So he says, where's yours? He says, where's your furniture? He says, what do you mean? I'm just traveling, passing through here. I don't need any furniture. So he says, I'm just passing through here too. I don't need any furniture in this world. So,
Nice.
But Tam also means complete. So now we can ask an obvious question. Esav,
Tom.
done. He was done. He reached his potential, as you said, right? And Yaakov, Tam, was complete. Okay, the word Tam means complete. So what's the difference between done and complete? What's the difference between Esav, who was born, he was done, he had everything he needed, and Yaakov, who was complete, he was wholesome, complete. So what's the difference?
Maybe spiritually and not spiritually.
Done means he's not going it right. He's not going anywhere. Complete means
Well,
he's
Yaakov also
whole.
was complete. He wasn't going anywhere from that point.
But complete means he's whole. He's totally rounded.
He's unblemished.
Excuse me? Okay.
Esau was Tom, complete as far as Rufniut. He didn't want to go in.
You're all touching on it. You're all right. Esav, he was born, he was done. He was not looking. Whatever was there, he didn't toil for anything. Everything was handed to him on a silver platter. As soon as he was born, he had everything, and he was satisfied with the here and now, and he was not going to improve himself. And we have this concept. Our purpose in this world is for tikkun olam. Everybody familiar with that concept? We are to prove in the Hashem made a perfect world, but it's our job. He gave us everything we needed in this world. Nothing new is going to ever be created. It's our job to use what He gave us and to perfect other people, our neighbors, our family, and so on and so forth. Esav was not interested in that. Esav wanted the physical pleasures of the world. He had it. Was not going to pursue certainly any spirituality, and was just going to reap from the physical pleasures that was given to him. Yaakov worked on it. He became complete. You become complete when you have a project and you've done it and you've worked on it hard, and now you're complete. You've perfected yourself by your own doing. It wasn't handed to you. You weren't born done. He was. It says Yaakov Yoshev Aholim. He was sitting in his tent. What does that mean? He was sitting in his tent. He was learning. He was seeking the ways of God, and that's how he became a complete, wholesome person. It's interesting that, as I was saying before about the names, every one of the tribes that were given the names, in the Torah feels it necessary to give reasons why we give all those names, and it's important, the names that we give, for as a person who believes in God knows that when we choose a name for somebody, it's divinely inspired, but we still like everything else, we still have to do our own endeavors to reach that potential. Now, in this week's parsha, we know the whole story, the trickery. I don't have much more time, but the trickery between Yaakov and his future father-in-law, where they switched off he wanted Rachel, and then he worked 7 years and he got Leah instead. So Yaakov anticipated that his future father-in-law was a swindler, and when he told him that I'm going to work for Rachel, he was very careful, and he says, I'm working for Rachel Bitcha Aktana. I'm working for you, Rachel, Bitcha, your daughter, Haktana, the younger daughter. So Rashi right away. Yes, you can. Rashi right away says, why didn't he just say Rachel? Why didn't he have to enumerate all three? So Rashi goes through a whole computation why, if he would have left out one of them, it wouldn't have worked. And I'm just going to end with this. I'm going to finish this tomorrow, but the reason he said Rachel, because that was her name. But why did he say Bitcha, your daughter, Aktana, the younger one? He says because Lovin will change names in a minute. We'll say, okay, now I'm going to call this one Rachel, and that's how we'll get away with it. So we'll continue this tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.
For me.